How's it going, everyone? I hope you're all doing good. Welcome to another video in the Drawing the Mannequin series. In this one we are going to be looking at how to pose and draw the mannequin on different angles. Now, in the previous video we had taken a look at all the forms which make up the mannequin to then bring them together and draw the mannequin as a whole, which is what I'll be doing a lot more of in this one. Here on screen I'm drawing out the mannequin in a standard position, and I'll draw this out a few times, rotating the mannequin around. Here the mannequin is drawn on a front view, a 3/4 view from the front, a side view, a 3/4 view from the back, and then finally a back view. Notice how I draw this over some guidelines that assist me when judging the proportions. These 8 units divide up the mannequin into sections, something that I covered more in depth in the first video. Once I've drawn this out, you can see when I edit them together, the overall form of the mannequin and what these boxes, cylinders and spheres look like as it rotates around. Now, one of the most useful exercises when learning to draw the figure on different angles is to look online for reference images of people posing in various positions. You can then have a go at drawing the box mannequin in the same positions. Here on screen, for example, I have an image in the corner of a person posing, and you can see how I draw the mannequin in the same position. It doesn't have to be exact, it's just to give you an idea. And if you really want to challenge yourself, you could also have a go at drawing the mannequin in the same pose but from a different angle. This is something we'll be looking at in more detail in the next video. And again, all of this relates back to how well you can draw in perspective. You will obviously find this easier to do if you have a good understanding of the subject, and like we did in the last video, one exercise that will help you get better at doing this is to practice drawing boxes, cylinders and other forms from different angles in isolation before then bringing them together. Also be sure to consider the proportions as you do this. We are using the 8 head unit system by Loomis, which I covered in the introduction. And it can be tricky to judge the proportions depending on the angle you are drawing the mannequin on, so just try your best. As I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Here I'm continuing to draw some of these mannequins using the reference images of people posing to help guide me. So now that I've drawn out some of these mannequins separately, let's have a go at drawing a few of them together in the same space. Again, try and find some reference images you can use online. Although I'm now dealing with 2 mannequins interacting with each other, the process is still the same. It might become more of a challenge to draw these forms which make up the mannequins on all of these angles, but again, just observe the reference you are working from and look at the previous forms you have drawn as you add more. I think it's important to remember here that the purpose of drawing this mannequin is to create a preliminary sketch and pose your figures in a scene you are drawing, which you can then develop in detail. So, as I said, don't worry about being perfect. I'd recommend having a go at drawing the mannequin using many reference images first, before then trying to draw this from your imagination. What this will do, and what I've found it did for me, is it lets you become familiar with these forms from different angles and how they work together as a whole. The goal of this series is to get you to a point where you can confidently draw the mannequin from imagination and plan out your drawings in perspective, but that comes with a lot of practice. Finally, in this last example, I'm going to draw quite a few mannequins in the same space, and this leads us into the next video in which we'll be looking at how to control the camera in perspective, similar to what I did in the previous example where I had drawn the mannequin doing the same pose but from different angles. If you can get used to controlling the camera, positioning your mannequins and posing them correctly, then you'll be able to plan out any drawing from your imagination. Then of course, alongside all of the study sessions, we'll be developing the forms that make up this mannequin to create a more detailed mannequin that's representative of the human figure. There's also some additional perspective drawing techniques that I'd like to go over again in this series. Of course, I have covered them in other videos on the channel, but not so much in this context where we are drawing out these mannequins. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then please leave a like. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. If you enjoyed the content I create, then do consider becoming a patron on Patreon. You will gain access to exclusive tutorials, study documents, process papers, real-time drawing footage and more. Plus you will also be supporting me in a more personal way. Other than that, thank you for watching this video and I'll see you soon.